On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. It's the best story I could figure to make a thumbnail out of. So much going on right now. A lot of excellent news, a lot of stuff. We are literally taking back this nation, and it's happening in powerful ways. We've got the court cases that are getting reversed. We've got court cases they're still trying to do. We're having success. We're still having a battle, though, unquestionably. A lot to talk about. Want to get into it, and don't want to waste too much time up front because I'll probably need it throughout the video. Jordan Sather, again, work he does. I like the work he does. It's funny as anyway. He's a good guy, I think, most time. You know, he does step into areas that I think frustrates people. I do that too, so I kind of it's one of the things I think is good. But he pointed out this New York Post article, and also Suspicious Observers, the guy I like to talk about, the Sun guy. He also showed a good image of this. This is the Manhattan-sized interstellar object that everyone's been talking about. Now, I even heard Cliff High talking about this in like it's a, I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's a UFO, And I was like, oh, Lord have mercy, dude. It's a comet. It looks like a comet. It is a comet. Now, comets are unique and cool, and they actually represent, like, they're harbingers of change. So they're good to see, but this isn't what everybody keeps making it out to be. The deep state has very hard spun this into UFOs. Again, I like the idea of UFOs. I think most of the actual physical craft are probably here. I think traveling interstellar-wise is tricky. Maybe there is a concept of warp, but just from the basic standpoint of the physics as we barely understand them, it's not always how it works out. Now, the UFO question got brought up to Tulsi Gabbard. It's pretty funny. She answers it well. I think she implies, based off of her saying they have discussions about this topic, it implies this is something she talks about with her husband. Her husband definitely believes this. We'll leave it at that.
UFOs. There's been a lot of...
My husband is in the corner, for the record, pumping his fist right now that you're asking this question.
So, I mean, is there anything... We've had some declassification of some very strange videos that look like they are, unidentified flying objects. Is there anything in the files that you think you could find or you have found?
Nothing that I'm prepared to talk about today. We are I'm just going to say this. We're continuing to look for the truth and share that truth with the American people.
The truth is out there.
Yes, it is.
So do you believe that there could be aliens?
I honestly, like, my personal belief, I have my own views and opinions.
Right.
In this role, I got to be careful with what I share.
Very interesting.
and I'm laughing. My husband's laughing in the corner because we have these same conversations, and obviously I don't share any classified information outside of my building with those who have clearances. But this is fun that he's here to watch this right now.
It goes to show that maybe she has some crazy conversations. A lot of us want proof. I mean, we've been hearing about it all the time. And again, this is one of the things I think it's sort of funny right now is our side, we love to pat ourselves on the back very extensively about all the conspiracy theories. We're just right about them all. No, I mean, not necessarily all of them. There's some that we've not necessarily nailed down appropriately, and some that I think have been spun by other people, other groups, meant to be psyop warfare against us that we've fallen for. So not everything is easy like we like to. Again, with the Law of One stuff I talk about UFOs there. I do have a slightly new appreciation for the idea of thought form and what that implies, but I don't want to get lost in that. But if you guys are interested in crazier stuff, majorly more woo, and certainly some of the teach learning side of what I am as a person, it's probably a good channel to check out, or a good show to check out. It's Thursdays, we do it live, but it's just Law of One. I've got a playlist if you guys are interested. Again, not for everybody by any stretch of the imagination, nor are UFOs for that matter. I think we have technology for sure. I think there's been downcraft. I think there's a lot of inner solar system stuff, probably. And I do think there's probably some orbiting periodical type stuff too. So I think there's a lot of things that come in at play or at work. And I think we've got some stuff that even talks about it, historically, Bible, actually, when you look at some of the original Hebrew texts and you kind of open your mind a little differently than what a lot of us try to do now. And it sounds very similar to, there's the Elohim concept, or who's the other one? The Elohim's the Hebrew. I'm trying to blank on the ones like Planet X, whoever the heck, I forget what they're called. They come from there. Maybe the Giants. I think that's the other time they're referred to, but the Nephilim, right? So that's another group of people that historically has got this weird outside thing, something different happening. And again, there's a lot of fun too there. I don't want to get emails from people telling me what it is. I've got my own understandings of what it is. I'm portending it in a more generic fashion for the audience. So please don't fill up my inbox with all that stuff. It's cool. I got you. There's a lot of people out there. We're not going to agree, and it's okay. Don't try to change my mind. Like, that's just, don't try to change anyone's mind. Frankly, that's just rude. Frankly. Have a talk with them if you want. But, no. Tesla under fire. The Air Force wants to use Elon Musk's Cybertrucks for target practice. I actually don't know if this is true. I mean, it seems like it could be. But in which case, I would just say the Air Force would probably buy some of these, but maybe they just get some junkers. I don't know how they want to handle it, but apparently they won't. They figure a lot of drug dealers and cartel members and stuff like that are going to be using these types of vehicles. And they do have that specific weapon that's got the blades. And that probably would not work in the Cybertruck the way it's intended anyways, as designed. So they're like, we kind of want to borrow a few of these and blow them up. Shoot stuff through them, shoot them, blow them up. See how it hits, see what happens when you hit it directly, indirectly, like you got like 100 of them we can just blow the shit out of that you're unhappy with, that they don't work anymore or they got dents in them or something. So anyway, yeah, something the Air Force might be talking about. We do have actually a story too about how the Air Force is gaining efficiencies, which I like very much. They're saving us a bunch of money. And Pete Heggs is going to tell us about that here in a little while. 2028 Democrat hopefuls now trying to distance themselves from all these migrant giveaways. They realize they can't afford it. So we got 3 Democratic governors. Gavin Newsom, California, of course. J.B. Pritzker, Illinois, of course. And Tim Walz from Minnesota. I know, you would have thought New York, but no. Tim Walz, not a surprise though, from Minnesota, have implemented policy changes to free up free money, basically. And they're trying to stop all this free health benefits for, you guessed it, illegals. Whoops. Citing problems with the budget. Now, other states, probably New York, they're like, we're just going to raise taxes. We don't care. Probably. But they are trying to distance themselves from this. One, because I think Trump's tying all sorts of money to these. You got sanctuary cities. We are by far not going to give you any more money. Are you kidding me? And they're like, wait, what? Wait, what? No, we'll change things a little. So until they're willing to make the big change, which is admitting that sanctuary cities don't work, that they're solely just there to get votes, until that can happen, they're all in a tough place. And it'll be fun to watch how it plays out. Got another big, bad, nasty fire here in California, Canyon Fire. And there's fires all over the place, by the way. Some are big, the brush fires all over, causing a lot of smoke. I understand that. There's a lot of people, smoke is so bad. Yeah, it totally sucks. I've heard that politicized, which I think is hysterical, by the way. Just like, you can't politicize it, whatever. Whether this fire's been created by man, whether it's whatever, this fire's happening. It's very dry. It's been very dry out here. We haven't had any sort of moisture for quite some time now. So, this is kind of normal. It's not been abnormally windy or anything, but it's certainly been very dry. So whatever the case is, whether this is caused by directed energy weapons or not, because I know my audience, Canyon Fire near Lake Piru in Ventura County, California, just north of Simi Valley and east of Santa Clarita, has grown to over 1,000 acres. It's actually over 5,000 acres at this point. So this canyon fire is what they're calling it. It's up by what we call Magic Mountain, Six Flags. A lot of you guys have them. We have one. It's Ventura area. It's probably about 2 hours north of me, but it's, I don't know, roughly an hour north of LA. Hard to kind of really phrase it that way, because if you're doing it like in the middle of the night, yeah, it's about an hour north of LA. If you're doing it during the day in any way, shape, or form, yeah, LA is like a 3-hour part of that journey, and then maybe an hour and a half. Anyway, it's, I don't know what the miles are, right? I'm gonna get up there and I gotta like figure it out. Doesn't happen. All said, this is a big fire. Don't know what's going on. We'll see. I mean, it's just, we burn all the time. Gavin Newsom suggests he's going to resign to stop the UCLA from paying anti-Semitism fine. I have no idea where he's going with this. The secret Ivy League university, they got busted, right? So we've had Brown University, Columbia University. UCLA was on the list for all this anti-Semitism, violence on campus. Especially during a lot of the anti-Israel stuff that was going on. So the Trump administration identifies UCLA as one of its top 10 investigative targets and pulled actually $600+ million thus far from them in funding. Newsom's answering press questions at an event. They suggested he would not allow UCLA to pay similar fines and would even resign to prevent it from doing so. I don't know what that means. That's weird. I mean, I hope he was just talking tongue-in-cheek. Well, I mean, I'm not hoping. I hope he resigns, actually. That'd be awesome. Please resign. That would be fantabulous. If you're that tied into UCLA, what's going on? Especially the fires, by the way. And that's kind of why I brought him up, because there's huge bit of controversy around his wife's NGO that received the $100 million of donations, or at least a good chunk of that. Maybe not all of it, but certainly a good chunk of the $100 million in donations that was supposed to go to the Palisades fire people. And nobody's gotten any of that money. Still. Her NGO did. So Newsom's, I don't know, making a weird statement. Reality star Spencer Pratt takes his battle with Newsome Bass in the LA fires to Washington, D.C. So justice is coming. He's lost everything. His parents lost everything. I guess he was in the reality series The Hills. I don't know who he is. I don't know if is he related to Chris Pratt too, which I'm wondering, but whatever. I guess he put an Instagram video out. But he's talking about it, talking about how none of the money went to where, nobody's gotten any of the money. Nobody's gotten permits. Nobody's allowed to move forward. This whole thing is very weird, especially the fact that people that actually have means, for that matter, can pay through some of the red tape and still aren't allowed. That's where it's interesting, to say the least. So we're getting more attention on it. Hopefully, we'll find some way to fix this too. The Department of Education investigates Baltimore, the Baltimore City schools, over alleged harassment of Jewish students. Pretty sad. According to the department, the complaint specifically alleges that the district has allowed egregious and persistent discrimination against students in several schools. The complaint details several incidents, including BCPS continuing to employ a teacher. Oh, so okay, specific school district. They're employing this teacher who allegedly threatened to go all Nazi on his students. This is a quote. And personally directed the same kinds of salutes to these Jewish students. Now, it's an allegation. We don't know if this is true. And if it is, I hope these people are getting discussed about, or talked to, or how trials, however they happen, whatever, the proper looking into it, due diligence, if you will. But several incidents where this has kind of happened, and so they're now being investigated as well. Historic New Jersey synagogue was destroyed in a massive fire as rabbi family luckily escaped unscathed. This kind of has a funny feel to it right now. Again, we obviously know there's a lot of hatred going on for the Jewish community for a lot of reasons, but certainly the pro-Palestine side of things for sure, and they tend to be the more progressive people in general, and it seems that we've seen commonality with dangerous acts by this group, right? We've seen that be pretty common. Not cool. So this Texas thing, kind of fun. New daily fine is going to cause pain And there's people that are already starting to try to play the world's smallest violin about how we should feel bad for these people that are literally not doing their jobs and are technically breaking the law. It's written into the law. And if you don't do your job and follow the law, then you actually have to pay fines. Then on top of that, they're like, but we weren't even allowed to do our jobs when we're in special session. This is not fair. We can't afford to do this without, this isn't fair. And it's just like, you guys created this mess. You guys ran out of your job, and now you're bitching that you're not getting paid. In fact, you're getting fined for not doing your job. Yeah, that's how it works. Welcome to the world. Democrats have been using their quorum break as a fundraising vehicle also. However, that's putting themselves in a different kind of crosshairs. As Texas Governor Greg Abbott has said, they risk felony bribery charges for accepting money to assist in the violation of legislative duties. You're literally taking money to not do your job. That is bribery. And whether or not it sticks, it will tie your punk ass up and make things difficult for you for a while. And Ken Paxton's probably already getting the paperwork done. So Monday afternoon, Abbott ordered the civil arrest of these AWOL people. We also found out that they're working with the state of Illinois. So Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton and House Speaker Dustin Burrows are asking an Illinois court to enforce arrest warrants against Democrat lawmakers who have left the state to delay passage of a GOP-backed congressional map. Burrows issued civil arrest warrants on Monday, ordering the sergeant-at-arms and state troopers to track down and arrest dozens of House people. These warrants are enforceable within state lines, making them a largely symbolic threat because they can't go into other states. The request to Illinois 8th Judicial Circuit Court marks a significant escalation in the Republicans' efforts to restore quorum and pass the new congressional map, which aims to secure 5 additional seats. It's not just that they're trying to pass. There's a whole bunch of other funding stuff that they're actually trying to pass. Now, they intentionally tied it all together. Literally, the people for the flood victims. That's part of that. That's one of the 17 things. I think it was 17. Might have been 17 of 18. Might have been the way they played the number. But this is a weird thing. It's being played out, obviously, in a lot of fun ways. There's a lot of very, very pissed off people in Congress about the FBI being asked and saying, sure, it will help. I don't know if anything outside of that's been done. We don't know, but there's already presumption that a whole bunch has happened. Now, Hochul's talking about not letting FBI hunt down Texas Dems in New York. We're not going to let them. Now, again, whether or not she would stop them if there was some sort of thing happening, I mean, that would be questionable. But she's not going to let them in. She's not going to help them. She's not going to allow this problem to go away, which is fine. Again, Abbott's trying everything he can first before he then boots them. Whether that's legal or not, it's going to be the biggest mistake made. These guys are all going to get stuck paying these fines. They don't make very much money either, by the way, in Texas. Savage murder of a boy, 14-year-old in Bronx playground. A group of kids came in and beat him up thinking he was somebody else. He wasn't that somebody else, but they killed him. They beat him to death. This just happened in New York where, it's very, very safe, obviously. 14-year-old beat to death. That's fun. DeMaio vindicated. California says gerrymandering election would cost over $200 million. So on top of being a bad idea, and they already own the state for the most part, it's funny that we're now going to see Gavin Newsom attempt to go ahead and do this. And that said, it's it's going to cost $200 million. They don't have money. They don't have any money. And you're going to spend money on that? Now, they could get donors, possibly. That would help. And again, I'm not going to cry about this. Everybody, all these Republicans in these blue states are freaking out about this. And I get it. We're having a little weird war going on here. It's done all the time. And I think the thing that's kind of funny is typically Republicans are like, I'm not going to stoop to that level. Yeah, so they're going to continue to cheat whenever they can. And then if we try to do the same thing, by the way, which, I arguably is cheating, if they try to do the same thing, then yeah, they get pissed at us. They call us names. It's not fair in any stretch of the word. And I think we should, like, literally anybody that's like, I can't believe you guys are doing this. It's like, you guys literally invented this. The guy with the last name of Jerry was from Massachusetts, and they called it gerrymandering because of those crazy squiggly lines he drew. Let's just divide it based off of population, cities, and stuff like that. Why do we have to have all these crazy ass lines? Oh, that's right, because it helps one side or the other. It's stupid. And someone actually on my Twitter said, or X, whatever, said something kind of cool, and I was like, oh, that's a neat idea for why it does, like doing a Hispanic community does kind of take away, I guess, voice from whites and maybe black people that are in the sort of nearby area. So again, I get it. I get the argument. It makes a lot of sense, and that was a great point. So we've got a lot of people that are going to be, I don't know, making a lot of noise, hee-hawing and stuff, but whether or not they're able to do anything, we'll find out. The FBI on Friday announced that it had arrested Suffolk County Sheriff Stephen Tompkins for allegedly extorting $50,000 from cannabis dealer hoping to do business in the city. This is reported by Axios. FBI Director Kash Patel has responded to this, basically said it's just a super low blow when you're somebody that everybody's supposed to be able to trust, and then you do something like this, and he says, I hope the penalties against you are severe, because they should be. Something to that effect. I'm misquoting him probably at best, but Trump bashes total loser ex-Georgia lieutenant governor. He leaves the GOP and becomes a Democrat. This is a small example of what I still think we're going to see in Congress when push comes to shove. That'll be very interesting to see which one of these. Well, some of them we're not going to be surprised, like Massey, like when he turns on, decides, I'm a Democrat. It's like, we always knew you were, you tard. But some of them I think are going to bug us. So yeah, he left the Republican Party. Donald Trump kind of beat him up in Truth Social. Good. That's fantabulous, as they would say. Act Blue is, wow, they're in a world of hurt. Their money laundering scam has sort of been uncovered and how they were kind of doing it. I'm going to let these guys talk about it. I think this is pretty cool, and it's 420 long. But yeah, this is how Act Blue has been funding a lot of the illegal fundraising that they've been doing for many of these causes. I don't think it's going to be allowed to continue much longer. This is going to destroy the deep state right before the election. The timing of it's going to be beautiful. It'll be well outside of the 90 days or whatever that stupid rule is, well outside of that, but it's going to hamper their collection abilities significantly. Oh, it's beautiful.
Tell me, magic mortgages. What in the world is this, Senator?
So we have this architecture that when you buy a house, generally it goes into escrow. You have a title company that handles the escrow, and there are a number of documents that go into it. So just at a broad scale, let's imagine you buy a house. Grant Stinchfield buys a house for $200,000, and it's funded by one of the North American banks. We'll just say Wells Fargo. Please don't sue me. All the records, including the mortgage, the deed of trust, the Alta insurance policy, all of those records are recorded in the county record. Then just a few minutes later, your $200,000 house suddenly has a $200 million magic mortgage that comes through. It's nothing but a wire that goes through the title company. There's no lender involved because it's a hard money loan, what they call a cash hard money loan. But because it goes through a title company, there's no notation of who the lender is. And it goes on through the system. Now, what's interesting is, and this is what caught our attention, these are Act Blue officers, corporate officers. Wow. Once we found one, it led to another and another and another and another. So we have them all over the nation. And this is just one small fragment of the human map. You leave this digital dust, if you will. This is one small fragment.
You have all of these gigantic financial transactions. Now the question becomes, how do they funnel that back into the campaigns? Is that the small dollar donations that we see that show up at some lady's house and she's donated to Act Blue 52 times and she knows nothing about it?
Well, that's just one small aspect of it. So James O'Keefe, got to give that guy credit with the whole smurfing piece that he's done. And we got to be careful about what we're calling this. This is a research project because we're not licensed investigators. We want to make sure that people understand that this money is going into organizations that this architecture was set up by Barack Obama to spread cash around the country and to put money into political action committees, into non-government organizations, to fund candidates, to set up the whole architecture for a public relations machine, read basically propaganda machine, to promote the whole concept that we're a team, we've got great funding, it's all behind us. So here in Arizona, for example, the Arizona Democrat Party, not more than about 5 weeks ago, it replaced their chairman because their fundraising is 25% of what it was last year. Well, where did all the donors go? So what we're talking about here, Grant, is wholesale fraud, where the money is distributed by Act Blue officers. And now, because we're not federal law enforcement, we don't know exactly where it went, but that's why we've turned it over to U.S. attorneys.
And that brings me to the real news, I guess, is that you have handed this over to the Department of Justice. What has been their response of taking the evidence? We'll call it evidence because, nothing's been proven yet. I'd like to get Act Blue's response on all of this. But you turn over this evidence to DOJ. What do they say to you?
We are now engaged in conversations with a number of U.S. attorneys, former U.S. attorneys, lawyers who are not yet confirmed U.S. attorneys. So there is great interest. I've got to believe that Attorney General Pam Bondi has forwarded this out to the folks that are the financial crimes folks. And by the way, it wasn't just the AG. We also sent it to the IRS Criminal Division and to the FBI. So Director Patel also has this.
Yeah, again, so this is a kind of breaking story that's, I think, hopefully going to get some legs. We'll see exactly how that plays out in the big picture. Again, want to remind you guys to stay healthy. The Wellness Company, they are awesome at helping you stay healthy. That much is for sure. And there's a couple real key products that I've been talking a lot about. I mean, this medical emergency kits. The kits they have are amazing. And there is some, I think, some bundled stuff you can get. Ultimate Spike Detox is a great one. Revive series. The Revive stuff is pretty impressive. I don't know if that's the Recharge is what I'm thinking. Which one's Revive? I don't know, the Revive one. Whatever the case, you want to go to twc.health/OTF, twc.health/OTF, Ultimate Spike Detox. Like, anybody that rolled up the sleeve, you rolled up your sleeve, this is something you definitely want to take. It's a supplement that's going to help get those spikes out of you. That's a powerful one. Also powerful is the ivermectin mebendazole. Loving this thing. This is making a huge difference. My little thing is down to its last little teeny tiny spot. And it was the darker part that I think spread everything anyway. But we'll keep you posted. Everything else is shrunk down on it. It's pretty interesting how that's played out. Feeling better, moving better. Again, there's, I think, some other stuff that's good to do with this. I'm going to check out some more things over the weekend. And I also think an actual cleanse from the standpoint of which products I am ingesting for a week would be a really good idea too, which I'm also planning on starting this coming week. So I think we're going to have some fun stuff to share with you guys on how we can move through the anti-parasitic path. But the ivermectin mebendazole is a huge thing. I've heard an individual who's also trying to promote products or books and stuff is saying this gets about 20% of it. I don't know if that's necessarily totally true. I think ivermectin mebendazole actually gets a great deal of it. There's a number of studies and examples where it's been the case. So something to keep in mind, but this is a huge part of any cleanse that's out there. 25 milligrams ivermectin, 250 milligrams of mebendazole. This is done with a doctor. There's a prescription. This is completely legal. The Wellness Company is just great. Dr. Drew and Dr. McCullough and a bunch of other doctors. They're able to actually give memberships. If you need to see a doctor, if you need to get off pain meds, you want virtual care, they've got all of that going on. and free U.S. shipping on all products. So go to twc.health/OTF, twc.health/OTF, and check it out. The Contagion Kit, too. It's got all your antivirals with all the crazy mosquito stuff that's going around right now, whenever. We've got all that. You've got the ivermectin mebendazole, which is the parasite thing, and longevity, anti-aging stuff. They've got a lot of just really great products. Recharge is a big one right now. Methylene Blue. It's one of the other big ones people talk about. That one's a trip. It's awesome. I've tried a little of it. I haven't gone way down the path yet. It tripped me out how much it turned my pee blue. That was like one of the things I think subconsciously or psychologically I wasn't quite ready for. So next time I go into the Methylene Blue experience, I will be prepared for blue pee. Blue pee was that was a added weird thing. Like did I eat a Smurf last night? What happened? What happened? Go to twc.health/OTF. Healthy choices, healthy living, and it will probably likely keep you alive, too. That's one of the joys of using some of these products. U.S. is going to send $93 million in food assistance to a dozen African countries. Thank God. Sudan is definitely one of them, which I believe is where we're having a lot of the killing that's going on, but also Haiti, Mali, Niger, Ethiopia, South Sudan, Nigeria, Madagascar, where, of course, that wonderful cartoon apparently came from. Central African Republic, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Djibouti, Kenya, and Chad. A good friend named Chad. Used to work with him. Miss him. Nice guy. $93 million. So we're going to try to feed some people that are starving. It's really, really bad down there. HHS Secretary RFK Jr. announces he has replaced a dangerous Biden-era provision in this is the CMS inpatient payment rule. This kind of stuff's got to stop, and I love the fact that he's, again, bringing transparency to medicine and all the little weird places that all the middlemen and there's like many middlemen. It wasn't just like the patient and then the hospital. There was middle people everywhere. There was middle people to middle people to middle people. Like some of this was what's that race in the track where they run it and they hand off the baton to each other, right? Like I feel like that's what like your dollar was just a baton that got handed off to all sorts of horrific people. Here's RFK Jr. talking about how he's making at least a lot of it go away.
Hi, I'm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., your HHS secretary. Let me ask you something. Should doctors make decisions based upon what's best for their patients or based upon what makes them the most money? It's not a tough question, but we've inherited a healthcare system that constantly pushes doctors toward the latter. It rewards certain treatments not because they're better for the patient, but because someone profits. Take what happened during COVID. Hospitals were paid to report staff vaccination rates. Those numbers were fed into the National Healthcare Safety Network, then published on the CDC website to shame any hospital that refused to become an enforcer of federal vaccine mandates. Today, I'm proud to announce we've eliminated that policy by repealing a dangerous Biden-era provision in the CMS inpatient payment rule. And we're not stopping there. We're scanning every corner of the healthcare system for hidden incentives that corrupt medical judgment. What we're finding is alarming. Doctors are being paid to vaccinate, not to evaluate. They're pressured to follow the money, not the science. We've recently uncovered that more than 36,000 doctors had their Medicare reimbursements altered based upon childhood vaccination rates. That's not medicine. That's coercion. It's immoral. It has no place in a constitutional democracy or in a system that claims to protect children. Medical decisions should be made based upon one thing and one thing only, the well-being of the patient, never on a financial bonus or a government mandate. Patients deserve honest, uncorrupted advice from their doctors. Doctors deserve the freedom to use their training and to follow the science and speak the truth without fear of punishment. Doctors should be guided by medical judgment and their Hippocratic oath, not by financial incentives or government mandates. That's what this policy change is about, and it's just the beginning. Thank you very much.
Produced by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Well, that was necessary. I guess that's how you know it was real, because you just copy that same audio. And all said, why the Pesticide Liability Protection Act threatens our food supply and the health of the nation. So they are trying to give liability to the pharmaceutical companies of the food, essentially the pesticide industry. This is something we definitely don't want this bill to go through. This is something we need to bring attention to. Congress is called the Pesticide Liability Protection Act. It's currently under consideration in Congress. Hopefully something like this won't get, don't go anywhere. Like, hopefully you guys can make some ripples on this one, because we want them in Congress to realize it's a bad idea. Very bad idea, and do not try to attach it to something. We'll find you. I thought interesting. Chip Roy is eyeing a bid for the Texas Attorney General position. Paxton obviously running for Cornyn's seat, and we'd all very much like to see Cornyn lose his seat. So a neat transition. Chip Roy would be a fun one to maybe throw over there, though he would be leaving the House. But I think there's probably plenty of good, solid MAGA people that we can pull into these certain areas. So this is probably a very good, safe move. I like this idea, frankly. That said, yeah, we'll see. There was a discussion about Hilton and whoever he's running against here in California, and it was a poll, and they're like, they're both neck and neck. They're the top-rated people. And I was like, I was going to share it. And then I looked at the numbers. It's like, it was like 12%. It's like, we'll wait till we get closer, but we're going to start giving you guys attention. But Hilton, I don't know, maybe. There's a couple potential people that are running over that want to maybe run for governor. I'm curious to see how that goes, and kind of, honestly, as bad as it sounds, hoping Trump kind of chimes in, frankly. Judge is ordering a temporary halt on new construction at Alligator Alcatraz. They're citing an environmental thing that they're like, you're going to have to wait for like 2 weeks or something stupid, I guess, while this case goes on. So they can't expand Alligator Alcatraz right now because they can't make more concrete or something to that effect. And this has to do, again, with a environmental lawsuit that was brought. This decision came after Williams heard arguments from expert witnesses theorizing that newly created pavement in the area would have consequences on America's largest wetlands. The airstrip housing the detention center is surrounded by the federally protected Big Cypress National Preserve, a fragile ecosystem home to endangered species like the Florida bonneted bat and the Florida panther. Probably a bunch of alligators, too, in Alligator Alcatraz. The hearing involves just one of the several lawsuits that have been filed against Alligator Alcatraz. There you go. I guess, Friends of the Everglades, the Center for Biological Diversity, and Mike Coxsackie tribe of Indians of Florida. That's what it looks like to me, Mike Coxsackie. Right? Am I reading that wrong? That's what I'm going to say it is. I'm not meaning disrespect to this tribe of native Floridians, but Mike Coxsackie sometimes makes a better day. Knowing one of them, having one of those experiences, when you've had the experience of the Mike Coxsackie. These things write themselves, man. God, life's too easy sometimes. Come on. Just playing catch. That's all we're doing. Trump admin urges Supreme Court to let Los Angeles immigration raids continue. So they filed their appeal. Hopefully we find from that soon. Appeals court scraps Boasberg's contempt order against Trump officials. They're like, no, sorry, buddy. This is kind of crazy that you're holding this contempt thing, that they didn't do the turn around the plane in the middle of the flight or whatever. The one dissenter was very much a left-leaning progressive, I think Obama-appointed person. Go figure. You got to expect that one's coming. So taking care of shiz, as one would call it. Justice Department opens criminal investigation into New York Attorney General Letitia James. 2 sources briefed on the matter. I think there's some truth. We've got other outcroppings of this. But 2 sources briefed on the matter told Breitbart News that subpoenas have been sent to James, focusing on what they say are allegations she engaged in what is called deprivation of rights when she targeted Trump and another instance. Probably the mortgage stuff, and since it's her personal thing, they can't really publicize it. The other one, since it was a public figure, they kind of can, and they made it public. Anywho, subpoenas have been issued, the sources say, and there is an active and open grand jury investigation that was ordered by Bondi and is being run by U.S. Attorney's Office in New York. While the sources did not specify which U.S. attorneys in New York is handling the case or the James investigation, there are multiple U.S. attorneys' offices in New York, since her office is in Albany, and that is from where she took these actions for which she is now under investigations. It would appear that somebody means that the Northern District in New York is the one handling this. It's not SDNY, by the way, which is interesting. It's New York's Northern District. So, again, we'll see. That would matter probably with judges and stuff, but we'll see what happens. EV drivers in 13 states, including California, they're going to lose their federal carpool lane privileges. There's some stupid sticker. Now I understand where this dumb sticker comes from. I've seen this stupid sticker a bunch of times. They put them on, I think, I want to say the Prius got them too. Clean air vehicle decal. The original set of douchey people that literally wanted to put a sticker on their car just so they could drive in the carpool lane as a solo individual, but they're using some douchey mode of life living, and so thusly they get to enjoy things that others doing solo work get to enjoy. All said, it is what it is. They're going away. So many people are going to bitch about that. Can't even wait to hear how many actors and actresses, I can't drive in the dang. Shut up. Shut the hell up and get over one lane where the rest of us are, you pile of poo. Oh. EPA, sorry for such strong language. I don't think I've cussed yet, have I? I don't know. It's coming. EPA cancels $7 billion Biden-era grant program to boost solar energy. Yeah, mainstream media is having fun with this one, too. But it's a $7 billion solar for all Biden-era project. Most of this money was going to NGOs. All of them, well, they're saying with DEI stuff going too. But again, a lot of the owners of these NGOs was the people that were getting paid off. This is how payoffs happened. They maybe were supposed to sort of handle something like, oh, am I supposed to just hire a contractor? Yeah, that's what your NGO does. Oh, we're okay, right? And that's it. You just hire some idiot that knows that they got to do stuff every once in a while when you tell them. Otherwise, you just make a bunch of money and don't have to do anything. Or have to at least accomplish anything. We've seen plenty of the failures happen. Over half of D.C. carjacking suspects are minors. And I don't mean the type that drill into the earth. No. Youngins. 56% of those arrests involved individuals under the age of 18. And they're saying many of them are between 15 and 16 years old. Some as young as 12. Got to teach them young. So this is the juvenile crime that's happening. Now, D.C. Police Commander was just suspended. Why? Because he was changing crime statistics. He was literally downgrading charges. So it would look like crime is lower in D.C. than it is, which is what all the news media has been talking about. Oh, crime's gone down. What are you talking about? Crime's gone down. What do you mean? Well, no, it hasn't, actually. You've changed, or wouldn't let them file it as such to begin with, which is why a lot of these people walk. So they're dumbing down the statistics intentionally by changing data. This guy's literally been suspended, and they're investigating, so hope he gets his fair investigation. But we've also found that charges weren't even allowed to be filed to begin with, which means then people are getting out on the street quicker anyways and committing crimes, yet once again we're finding. This is all coming to the surface. Trump orders federal law enforcement to patrol D.C., plagued by violent crime for far too long. So literally for 7 days, he is going to be in there with National Guard, a presence. Sounds like he's going to put a stop, or he's daring the other side to do something, is what it sounds like. So next week could be an interesting week, or the next 7 days, this weekend actually, possibly could be interesting, especially in D.C. and maybe neighboring or other, Portland and Seattle might get weird too in unison. There's something stupid. Daily Beast deletes an article alleging Trump met Melania through Epstein relation. Took it down. Trump sort of truthed it, so it came out that way. Justice Department asked 2 New York judges Friday to unseal grand jury exhibits dealing with the Epstein stuff. and Ghislaine Maxwell, an expansion of its earlier ask to make 5 days of grand jury testimony public. The judge has already said no, but he might this time. But yeah, Bondi and Blanche are, hey, get the stuff out. They want somebody to blame. Again, this is so. I hate to say it because I know it's like really important to a lot of people. But I'm like Trump, like this, like we've got so many things that are, well, many things anyways, that are way more important than the Epstein stuff. Like the Epstein stuff's not still happening. It's not a continuing crime. And so, yes, we want to see these people busted, but there's a whole bunch of people within our own Congress, within our own, like whether they've ever gone to Epstein or not, that we have to bust. Like, and they're still causing problems, right? Like Epstein's kind of over at the moment. We'll get there. But right now, we currently have people that are trying to put their foot on our throat. And we're worried about this other guy that's lifeless. It's just not the place for it yet. It's coming, and it's going to be one of the little badges of honor that's going to be attached to some of these scum. And I think it's going to come out. Whatever, I mean, the files, it's just an overblown thing. I think there's a lot of people that assume a lot of things, and we don't really know. We've never known. It's one of the many problems we have on our side. We get so up our ass in conspiracies, man. We just assume we're right with little information. I've seen people base stuff off of a Telegram post. I'm like, he didn't even cite anything. And they're like, nope, but that guy never lies. It's like, wow, okay. So Just Human did a pretty good update on the whole scheme of what's going on with Epstein. It says, update on DOJ's efforts to unseal Epstein and Maxwell grand jury material. DOJ has moved to unseal the Maxwell and Epstein grand jury exhibits. They've moved. We'll see if it happens. 2 more attorneys have withdrawn from Gillen's team. It seems David Oscar Marcus, who is also counsel to Hillary Clinton, will be Ghislaine's primary counsel going forward. Epstein estate has responded and taken no position on the unsealing. They don't care, it seems. More letters from victims have been docketed. Yabbity. Or yabba dabba doo. Trump directs Pentagon to use military force against cartels. This is a report. This has reportedly signed a directive that's a secret that nobody knows about within Trump's inner circles, reportedly been leaked. I don't think that's the case. I think this is a bullshit story. New York Times reported it, that Trump signed this directive in secret, and everybody knows about it, though. That's how you guys found out. Providing a justification for potential military operations against the criminal organizations like the cartels. I don't know if it's meant to freak people out or what, and I feel like this was maybe an intentional leak thing, because I do think a lot of times they say stuff to find leakers. And this might have been a nailer. They might have nailed something here, because this is stupid. And Trump's like, nah, we knew we'd catch him on that one. So again, we'll see what plays out. Here's Secretary of Defense Hegseth talking about he just saved a crap ton of money for us. And this is just from the Air Force only. I'm sure others are to follow.
All right, we're here in my office, and I'm pleased to announce that the Secretary of the Air Force, Troy Mink, working with DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, has secured more than $10 billion in savings. They're cutting waste and working with vendors to reduce contract spending. So I want to commend you, Mr. Secretary, and the entire Air Force team for being relentless in rooting out excess. The Air Force can now claim the top 2 spots on the DOGE savings podium. I don't know where this podium is. I'm told it's somewhere, maybe in the basement of the Pentagon, but we're going to dust it off, and the Air Force claims the top 2 spots, symbolizing their commitment to leadership and to you, the taxpayer. So thank you to the Secretary for being an example of stewardship, and we appreciate your dedication to President Trump's mission of peace through strength. Outstanding work, and appreciate all you're doing.
Well, thank you, Secretary Hegseth. As you said, efficient use of taxpayer dollars is critical to national security and maintaining our lethality. Over the past 6 months, we've looked at 500 contracts, 50 business systems, realizing more than $10 billion in savings. And as I said, with the modernization going on, which is the largest in the history of the Air Force, every last dollar is going to be necessary to bring that lethality and peace through strength. Thank you for the team. Thank you, sir, for supporting the Department of the Air Force, and look forward to working forward.
No, great work. Let me see that card. 50 business systems.
50.
That gives you a sense of what we're up against here. I mean, 500 contracts is probably just the beginning.
Yeah, part of it was actually shrinking down the number of business systems to try to streamline things a little bit.
I mean, and you've got huge platforms America's going to rely upon. I mean, the F-47, you name it, the Air Force is involved in it. This is huge. This is part of what we were sent here to do. Find those dollars to put them toward the president's mission to keep the country safe. So I appreciate you leading the way. A lot of hard work here, and thank you to Doge also for making it happen. We'll find you that podium. Appreciate you.
I think the pain too that we've gone through trying to look at switching systems into more modern systems and being like, it's going to cost us how much? And it's a pain in the ass. I've been involved with those processes, mapping data from database to database. And then when you've got like, it's such a pain in the ass. So please don't underestimate when they say it's like, it costs $1 billion. It probably will with some of our crap systems and the legacy data. I kind of think you're better to cut. It's usually what's better to do. And then you figure out a reporting system on the old data. That's usually easier than trying to make two old worlds work, but it requires refinagling software to lay down the back end data, and that oftentimes isn't so easy either. So again, fun projects to be involved with. Frankly, that's why I liked doing what I was doing. I enjoyed it a bunch actually, but it is what it is. Sometimes it gets too much when my real job is you guys, right? My pillow. I got to keep talking about them because I think till Sunday. My guess is we're going to find out, or I'm going to get an email today, and we're going to find out that the free shipping's done on Sunday. So I'm just saying, take advantage of this, guys. This is one. When we have Mike on the show, he gave us some really cool information. It was on my Wednesday show. Really cool information. Talked about when he came out with the picture, the book, and they could read the paper, and they were taking pictures of that. And again, talking about too, and I asked the crazy question, you know how a lot of us think everybody's an actor, like we do things on purpose? Like that whole thing was not on purpose. And he's just talking about it. And I think a lot of people undersell or don't appreciate the power of how awesome it is when Spirit, Lord, Source, God, whatever, Jesus works in the world and you experience it. It is epic, especially when you're playing a part. There's been times where I've like watched shows and I'm like, I don't remember saying any of that, because sometimes it's just stream of consciousness. It's pretty cool. So My Pillow has an awesome deal because of you guys, because of Mike Lindell. Free shipping, first off, free shipping. On orders over $100, you're going to get $100 in digital coupons. That's going to go probably back down after, but they're doing free shipping. So now you got to buy $100 instead of $75. I think it used to be to get $100. That'll probably come back, but frankly, it's not about the digital coupons. You're just getting an added bonus. Free shipping is huge because the more expensive things are, typically the higher the price of shipping, right? You need a mattress. Literally, they can mail you a mattress. Free shipping. They've got mattresses, and they got a good price on them, frankly, right now. They got toppers, too. $149 on the topper. Mattress starting at $799. They've got the best towels you're ever going to use, ever. They've got this slipper deal that's going out of control. These things are awesome. They are so, like, if you look at the thickness of that fur, that fuzz, dude, they're just awesome. It's so comfortable. The sole's like literally like 7 layers. It's stitched on the side. This is just a very well-made moccasin, if you will. It's worth $110 or more. Well, $150 it would be. You can wear these outside. We use them as indoor shoes because, I don't know, when I go outside, I wear my stupid sneakers. It's what I wear all the time, everywhere. So I can sneak up on people. They've got the best stuff. Check it out. The towels. They've got the employee pricing on their original pillow. The, I forget what they call that version of the pillow. This is the knife edge version, and this is the... I forgot what she said. Like, I'm so not meant for the pillow world. You know, professional pillowism. I don't know. These are the same filler. It's the same pillow. You get employee pricing on it. $19.98. Boom. Done. Check it out. Check it out. This is the promo code mypillow.com /OTF. mypillow.com /OTF. Get your free shipping as well. Got some cool stuff. The beach towels are huge. 50% off. This Rev 7's amazing. You've got the My Cross going on. They got a couple different versions of that. You got my store. I don't know if the free shipping translates into that, but use the OTF code and see. It might. It might. We can try. Let's see, mystore.com/OTF. I feel like I spelled that wrong. No. Yeah, so you got to go in the other way at best, or yeah, you might not get the free shipping, but they got some cool stuff in my store. So go to mypillow.com/OTF. That's mypillow.com/OTF. Get the best night of sleep you have ever had. And you'll be stoked about it. All right. Rock and roll. We're making progress. Chinese nationals charged for allegedly exporting microchips to China without a license. The good ones, too. They got busted. I feel like we're finally kind of catching a lot of this stuff. And this was from Southern California, so very likely tied into either the UC system, possible, or we've definitely got a lot of military stuff out here. A lot of military stuff out here. So, yeah, any number of those things. Reuters reports that the Indian pauses of U.S. defense purchases was actually incorrect. India's actually spoken about this. They're like, no, this isn't true. We still are going to buy the P-81 Starcraft, the Stryker vehicles, and Javelin missiles. They're like, no, we're buying stuff. It's cool. Trump and I are, there's a lot of weird press going around about how Trump and him are fighting. I mean, Trump, he did raise the tariffs, but they're still spinning that story like days later. It's weird how they do it. Because I check Politico and I check Reuters sometimes. I check a couple places that have a little more left-leaning postures. And, yeah, it's weird how they're like days later, they're still like trying to give something an extra spin. It's very weird. Trump truthed this out today. He said tariffs are having a huge positive impact on the stock market. Almost every day, new records are set. In addition, hundreds of billions of dollars are pouring into our country's coffers. If a radical left court ruled against us at this late date in an attempt to bring down or disturb the largest amount of money, wealth creation, and influence the USA has ever seen, it would be impossible to ever recover or pay back these massive sums of money and honor. It would be 1929 all over again, a Great Depression. If they were going to rule against the wealth, strength, and power of America, they should have done so long ago, at the beginning of the case, where our entire country, while never having a chance at this kind of greatness again, would not have been put in 1929-style jeopardy. There is no way America would recover from such a judicial tragedy. But I know our court system better than anyone. There is no one in history that has gone through the trials, tribulations, and uncertainties, such as I, and absolutely terrible, but also amazingly beautiful things can happen. Our country deserves success and greatness, not turmoil, failure, and disgrace. God bless America. And I think this comes down to the first appeal of the district courts trying to stop Trump's tariffs. And that would be tragedy. And I mean, it would almost, it's like one of two, like we can't lose the billions of dollars just because some stupid judge thinks it's illegal. They can't put a stay like that. Now, hopefully that first judge, and I don't remember if it's come out yet or if it's going to. I feel like it was something that was happening. But they can't force Trump to stop doing it. If they do, the first judge does that, and they're like, nope, you can't do it while we're trying to figure this out. You can't receive tariffs as a nation. Like, I'm going to make a decision that's literally going to cost this nation billions of dollars in revenue. That seems extreme for what a judge can do. Now, I would hope that immediately a district court would file, like, no, we're going to pause them for a second while this happens. Continue doing your tariffs. We'll get this straightened out in the meantime. Hopefully. But Trump is calling it out. He's like, if you literally let a district court stop tariffs, one communist district court that hates this nation could literally, to a degree, destroy our economy. Oil tumbles a little bit today of this talk of U.S. and Russia not having a fight anymore. Oh, the markets hate that stuff. Wall Street Journal put this out. Trump is aiming to IPO Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac later this year. They're saying they think this could generate up to $500 billion. It also gets a lot of stuff off our books, which is a big deal. These are numbers that we don't necessarily have to pay yet, but maybe might have to. So again, this is interesting. And that would be like, buying stock in government, which is an interesting idea as well. So it's kind of a cool idea, I think. Donald Trump truth this as well. It is my great honor to announce that I have chosen Dr. Stephen Mirren, current chairman of the Council of Economic Advisors, to serve in the just vacated seat on the Federal Reserve Board until January 31st, 2026. In the meantime, we will continue to search for a permanent replacement. Stephen has a PhD in economics from Harvard University and served with distinction in my first administration. He has been with me from the beginning of my second term, and his expertise in the world of economics is unparalleled. He will do an outstanding job. Congratulations, Stephen. So very cool. JP Morgan, they're changing their call after Mirren's now appointed. They think the Fed's in fact going to do a rate cut in September. Now, this is interesting that they're calling this out. I'm not against it, but a lot of the questions that are been thrown around out there, or when things might start to get crazy, a lot of people are figuring it around September, October, November, like that area. And if what JP Morgan is saying is true, if JP Diamond, basically, or whatever his name is, Diamond, if he is correct, and they actually do start lowering rates, well, that's actually going to fix, the economy is going to start to speed, things are going to start to get better. But if the economy is supposed to get soured further, so we can blame the Fed in some weird way, and this guy's going to be able to, throw a flag on the play afterwards, then that might actually be what we need. And that would mean that we don't raise rates coming September. And we surprise the world. And Diamond's wrong, which is probably going to happen anyways. And you got Powell still being, right? I don't know what's going to happen. But I feel like those are kind of the two paths sitting in front of us. And the idea of them lowering rates, which I would love, I'd like to refinance. They're less likely because it benefits you and I. And the deep state, well, they don't want that. They want to hurt Trump. They don't want Trump's economy starting to pick up. They don't want us to start, it could hurt inflation a little bit. We'll be honest. Could. And maybe that's why he's talking 4 movements, which would make sense as well. So again, we'll see. I don't know. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. JP Morgan predicts Fed's going to cut the rates in September. So 4 times, same story twice, it seems. So again, VIX going down, which means confidence is going up. Yeah, who cares? Oil's down a little bit. This it's not down because of currency in this case. Gold's up a little, not a whole bunch, but it was up a bit more, I think, earlier in the day. But gold is up a little right now. Oh, it dropped a bunch. Yeah, so it was way up earlier. And then something happened. Interesting. It took a big crapper. Look at that. That's interesting. Yet oil hasn't, right? So they're intentionally doing stuff to mess with the currency. Yeah, and it sort of did something similar. It took a crap back, but it looks like it. Silver rebounded a little better than gold did. That's very interesting. It looks like gold's trying to come back up because they almost always mimic each other. Silver just does it quicker. It's just easier to do it with. Yeah, all said. Not trying to push the gold, though. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. If you got a 401k or an IRA, get out tax-free, penalty-free. My friends at Goldco will help you. All right. All said. Whoops. So she tells Putin China is ready to back peace negotiations with the U.S. on Ukraine. So she is on board with Russia and Ukraine no longer fighting, and the fact that the U.S. is essentially brokering a deal. We're finding out. Kremlin confirms Trump-Putin meeting in coming days. They are definitely going to meet. Now, Trump, there's a thing going around to him, and he was like, they asked him about Putin and whether the ceasefire thing has to happen. The 12 days or 10 days is up here soon, immediately, maybe tomorrow, whatever. And he's like, yeah, it needs to stop. I'm pissed. I'm not happy about this or whatever. So he's still talking tough around the ceasefire and all that, and that's what's happening. But Kremlin has confirmed that they will be meeting. I think the United Arab Emirates is where they were thinking they might have the meeting. I don't know if I've got that story open or not. We'll see if that's where they end up. Pentagon can retake weapons destined for Ukraine. So us and even Germany are all of a sudden going, oh, cool, meaning you think the war's going to stop? Sweet. So we don't have to keep trying to spend money on that. And then, so this is going to be awesome because this is going to bankrupt the EU to a degree. And I mean the Ursula von der Leyen version of it, because the war money, she had a huge amount of war money put into there of giving it just to Ukraine. That's not really justified anymore, at least not to those levels. So they're going to have a hard time with that cash grab. The deep state's being squeezed. Europe's got their own problem, and I'm not necessarily here to fight their war in any way, shape, or form, though I take joy in any place where it seems like they've made positive steps forward, and I think that is happening. Italy rediscovers national identity in a fight with the EU courts. This case was brought forward about illegal migrants that were being removed from the country, sent to an asylum processing center in Albania. The EU member state can only determine safe countries for the return of migrants if they provide evidence and allow for judicial review. It found that the relocations by Italy do not offer sufficient protection to the entire population. So their EU's telling Italy, no, you can't kick all those people out that you want to kick out. Your desires to deal with immigration are not decided by you anymore. And they're not. They're all part of the union. They should have read the contract. Hello. Trump tells Mideast nations to join Abraham Accords now that Iran's nuclear arsenal has been totally obliterated. I think he put it, nuclear arsenal had been obliterated. I feel like it's a broken quote. There it is. Being created by Iran was totally obliterated. Anyway, whatever the case is, he blew up the stuff that was able to make it into further weaponry. So whether there's still materials floating around, which was one of the things everyone tried to make it sound like he didn't accomplish what he was after, doesn't matter. They have no place where they can turn that into a weapon. And there are plenty of countries in this world that could just give them the weapon. Many suspect they already have the weapon. So kind of doesn't matter, really. If someone wants Iran to have a nuke, there's nukes floating around. They don't travel easy. We can generally see them. We've been hearing the nuke planes have been running around sniffing lately, so some stuff's happening. People are trying to move stuff that it's hard to move. It's very hard to move. Trump apparently yelled at Netanyahu for dismissing the Gaza starvation. Maybe raised his voice, better way to say it. But this is Russian Times pushing it out. But yeah, Netanyahu supposedly insisted that, no, this is widespread allegations of starvation in Gaza are just not true. And Trump's like, that's not true. And he kind of cut him off, I guess. That movement starting to happen, right? Israel's starting to get into an interesting place. I don't know how to state it better yet. I don't even know if I fully appreciate it yet, because I know like the AIPAC, right? Got Marjorie Taylor Greene coming out at war with these guys right now. These guys are the ones that are Jewish organized, but they're Republican almost predominantly. Most Jewish people are Democrat, which is very strange too. So all of this stuff is weird. None of it makes any sense. And we've obviously got the whole Khazarian kind of side of things going way back in our history. Israel seems to be in the middle of a lot of that stuff, especially if you read the book, the good book. Then you'll typically find that Israel's in fact right in the very middle of it all. They're the chosen people, right? So a lot's happening. A lot of our American diplomats, or not diplomats, but American Congress members went there and hung out and had their AIPAC stuff. Okay, that's how you do this. That said, Israel approves plan to take control of Gaza City. I don't want to play all this, even though I think it's one of my girls. Oh, it's them. No, that's why. But Israel's approving a plan to take control of Gaza City. They're going to take control of it. They're like, we don't want it forever. We just, want to have it, for a while so we can get it cleaned up and get. And I think fairness, he's like, and Hamas is not going to be the ones that are going to ever provide a good governance people for Gaza. So it does sound like the idea of having Gaza have people come back into it after they've removed all of those people is possible, but It's not like, what, you're going to kick everyone out and then what? Let them come back? I mean, maybe you vet them. I mean, I don't know, but that seems unlikely. It seems like Israel would probably just take control of the Gaza Strip. So I don't necessarily believe for a second that Netanyahu is being truthful in all of his statements. We'll see. We'll see indeed. Healthy Home, just great products. Healthy Home, healthy heart, healthy mind. Stem Active helps with healing. It doesn't put stem cells in you. It causes your own body to create more stem cells. There's 2 pills you can take every day. The gel caps are almost immediately digested. Or you do a gel where it's even faster, I think, into your system. But these just kick up your own healing abilities. Balance for ladies going through the change. This is a transdermal lotion. You rub it on your wrists. It's making a big difference. It's saving relationships, frankly. For those of you going through all the changes, there's no synthetic hormones. It's literally, once again, helping your body deal with this challenging time. Balance is just getting rave reviews. People are loving it. Amaze, my girlfriend's addicted, I'm pretty sure. It's like crack to her now. But she is doing double doses of this daily, so she's literally doing 60 a month. And I, noticed a difference with her skin when she came back from the Philippines. I'm sure some of it was the beautiful humidity there, but she looked like, seriously, like 8 years younger. And it's also helped with the thing above her eye, and she's just loving it with the hair, the nails, sore muscles and joints. She did have a calcification going on with her shoulder. She was totally taking the Stem Active for a bunch of time and stopped kind of when her hair issue started, and then she started doubling up on the Amaze. She still doesn't have problems, though. I asked her the other day, I'm like, does your thing hurt at all? And she's like, no, it still doesn't hurt. It seems like that was fixed by the Stem Active, but because she started doubling up on this after that was healed. So I don't know. Hard to say. Like I said, that I've been intentionally doing things a little differently just so I can sort of isolate some of the products. Prime is one I love. It gives great energy, and highly recommended. Just opens up your blood vessels, makes more flow through. If you work out, Prime's a good thing to take beforehand. It's not going to mess with your, if you're going in there in ketosis, it won't mess with that. There's no sugar in it. That's delicious, though. Also, Stem Active for your pets. It'll help your pets' stem cells increase naturally so they have better healing, and that's really what it comes down to, is just healing. Stem cells become other cells, so the more of them that you have, the more stuff can get fixed in your body. The fewer of them you have, the less stuff that gets fixed in your body, or at least fixed well. So that is kind of a good way to look at it. Stem Active for pets, it's about half the price of the adult stuff. It's chewable tablets. Dogs and cats going to love it. And it'll help them tremendously. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Make those healthy choices for healthy living, and you will be healthier and happier. This is sad. Chinese police beat a bunch of parents with batons for protesting that their kids were getting bullied at a school system. And they went to petition, or protest, and they got beat with batons, which is just fudged up, man. Pam Bondi announces $50 million reward for information leading to the arrest of Venezuela's Maduro. That's pretty big. It used to be like 10 million or 15 million. Now it's 50. They're going big. Anybody, you've got information that leads to the arrest of that mofo that's in charge of Venezuela, we'll give you $50 million. $50 million. They're trying to get the drug people to go after this guy now. That's got to scare him a little bit. There's my girl, Alice Tang. I liked her. I like her a lot. EPA terminates $7 billion grant program for solar projects.
Big cuts at the EPA. The agency says it's terminating a $7 billion grant program designed to provide solar energy grants to over 900,000 low-income households. The Solar for All program was established by the Biden administration through the Inflation Reduction Act. EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin called it a grift that benefited China. The program awarded grants in April 2024 to 60 recipients. Zeldin says the program is being eliminated under the One Big Beautiful Act that President Trump signed into law last month. Trump also signed an executive order in July to end federal subsidies for wind and solar energy projects, citing unreliability and dependence on foreign-controlled supply chains. Senator Bernie Sanders introduced the solar program. He denounced its termination as illegal and vowed to push back against the move.
Yeah, push back. Push back, please. She even has her eyeshadow matches her top. Look at that. Well, that is adorable. Anywho, it's the small things I enjoy. Trump admin throws Maryland Democrats a lifeline to halt power blackout threat after green policies backfire. What's funny is they're basically saying, look, here's the thing. You guys can fire up your plants, and we're going to just ignore any of the EPA stuff for right now while you do that. So if you're making extra pollution than you're supposed to, we'll just pretend it's not happening. And then that way you guys can generate enough electricity to survive. And so we'll see what Maryland decides. If they stick to their guns, they're like, nah, we want our people to hate life, then that might be their choice. We'll see. We'll see what they choose. I love choices. Choices are fantastic. Supposedly Tesla they're winding down their Dojo supercomputer effort. I guess a bunch of their people got pilfered by a competing company called Density AI. And so Musk was basically like, yeah, I'm just gonna kind of shut down the one and keep it going. The other one keep going. So the Tesla AI 5 and AI 6 are going to be the next chips, or the subsequent, as my programming folks say. We used to always say subsequent, but it's funny. My friend, he used to always say subsequent. Anyway, it always tripped me out. It's weird. Sometimes pronunciations of words, and you're like, there's nothing wrong with that, but it sounds strange. Anyway, chips. They're going to be excellent for this whole moving of the AI with Tesla. I wonder how quickly that's going to go. I was talking to my neighbor about that. Literally, they're going to have the self-driving cars that you literally can buy a Tesla car and you can put it outside, just outside, and turn it on with your app or whatever, and put it in taxi mode, and you'll literally make some sort of money per hour for your car just automatically driving people around. Now, granted, I would assume if your car crashes with somebody in it, it's your insurance that's going to pay, not Musk's. I would wonder how that would work. But anyway, that tripped me out. I was like, wow, that would be weird. First off, it'd just be weird. You walk out and your car's missing, but you're like, oh, yeah, of course. It's on a ride. Ugh, be strange. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. U.S. startup here in California is buying a battery company. It is called Northvolt. And I guess they're bankrupt, and they are in Europe, Sweden, in fact, and German is tied in with it too. These are these gigafactories. And apparently this California company is going to be buying them. The Lighten is the name of the company here in California. Strange. It's going to take over Northvolt Labs and Northvolt Dre, whatever, including projects developed with more than $5 billion in capital investment. So some green energy stuff maybe that they're trying to continue to blow money on. I hope to God they're not getting any California money, this company. They might be, or it might be with one of the Pelosi companies or something. Peter Thiel-backed startup aims to revolutionize American uranium production. This is happening in Kentucky, of all places. Massey's being a douchehole. McConnell's being a douchehole. And I feel like there's another one. That's not the greatest. All said, I don't know, these people bugging out, or we're finally getting rid of them, and they're getting sweet deals. I don't know. The Paducah Gaseous Diffusion Plant in McCracken County, Kentucky. McCracken. Got to bring out the Kraken in McCracken. Makes me think of, what's that, my cocky suck? What was the name of that? Me cocky suck? I forgot the name of that word. That was a great word, though. That's a great word. 100% sure I'm saying it correctly. All said, this project's going to be a big deal. Uranium development and enrichment. This is what we blew up in Iran, by the way. It's just a giant fat. We put it right on the surface. We're like, we don't care. We have all sorts of weapons. We're not hiding it from anybody. That's essentially what it is, though. Big giant facility doing exactly what we didn't want Iran doing. Of course, we don't trust them. It's different. All said, a lot happening, and we've got some great music coming tonight. We're doing 4 for Friday, this particular Friday, and we did the Beatles. So having 4 songs for the Beatles was impossible. I think I got about 6 or 7. And then we did 4 for all the members of the band, except, of course, Ringo. Why the hell would I include? I think Happy Birthday, isn't that like his only song? Something like that. There's not very many. And I was like, no, I'm not including Ringo. So, yeah, Harrison, McCartney, and Lennon. I've got 4 of each of them, so it should be a lot of fun. Hope you guys have a chance to join us. 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern every Friday. Not always doing Beatles, though, that's for sure. It's just this particular Friday coming up here in about 2 hours and 10 minutes. That said, I got to upload and do all that good stuff. I love you guys. I look forward to doing our show on Sunday. Where we go one, we certainly go all. That's why we make ripples everywhere. It's on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle.